there is no more excuses. We got to get in the stand as early as possible, stay as long as possible.
I don't know where he went. That was a really, really good buck. The best case scenario is it ends today. Get ourselves a Halloween buck.
This is the feeling that I've been chasing.
October feels like it's flying by at this point. With each passing day, we are closer to my favorite time of the year. However, in the meantime, weather is king. Any cold front will trigger deer movement. It is key to be glued to your weather app for any snap changes, such as wind direction swapping from the north to the south in the middle of the day. That is personally my favorite time to get in the woods. Dropping 20 degrees overnight. These are things we pay attention to the most in October. On October 21st, we get a small drop in temp. However, no matter what the weather told us, we were going to get in the woods. We have recent sightings of Marilyn's buck on camera, and she is ready for her first sit of the year.
This is how you put on a glove. Put your hand in. You do the wiggle. You have the other one. Put the other one. Oops. See? Our fingers get stuck sometimes. Do the wiggle. Test it out.
Alright, welcome to the Octagon with two people. We spooked a deer coming in, but the walk into this stand, I choose to spook any deer that are to our east. There's no good way to get out here. So you gotta pick which side of the property you're technically hunting, and I like to be hunting the west side of the property from this blind. It's where a lot of our scrape activity happens, so I choose to come up more of the east side of the property. If we scare deer, we scare deer. You're unlucky. And then we get in from the back side. So here's the fingers crossed that Marilyn's buck or a bigger buck shows up, and
Marilyn's buck.
It's water
Oh.
dripping off the roof.
Oh.
Shoot a bigger buck if it walks by. You're not only out here for your buck.
Or rock, paper, scissors, board.
Yeah, nope. I didn't bring my bow.
Rock, paper, Spock. Can't remember what he says.
Rock, lizard.
I know there was a lizard. Rock, paper, scissors. Lizard.
Rock, lizard, Spock.
Spock. Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Yeah. Anyway.
Very important conversations happening.
But either way, this is our first time in the Octagon with two people, and I was a little worried, but there's a lot of room in here, and with the tinted windows, you can move around and adjust as you need to if a deer shows up. So the only thing left to do in here is maybe foam the rest. We see a few deer, but the sit ultimately goes wrong. Marilyn catches a cold, and the buck she was after never showed. With Maryland now sidelined, I hit the woods hard. With recent sightings of some new mature bucks, it's time to dive in. We are no longer holding back. We are getting in the woods, and we are staying in the woods, no matter what.
Not worried about getting in the woods. From today until after rifle season, there is no more excuses. We got to get in the stand as early as possible, stay as long as possible, and time to really get after some of these bucks. Been taking it easy so far, staying out of the best spots. Today we're diving in, and we're gonna be sitting as long as we can this morning. I'm not trying to sneak in, I'm not trying to be quiet. I'm gonna practically run in and get up that stand, shorten the amount of time I'm loud instead of trying not to be loud, because no matter what, you're gonna make noise. Get in there. I said this is gonna be a short intro, but here we are. Anyway, let's go get in the tree. There's definitely a deer in the bottom. Up top could be a squirrel, but down in the bottom I could hear that patented like log break, and then a little shuffle. If you know, you know. Once that sun's been up for a minute, I'm definitely gonna clank some antlers together and hope that if a buck had bedded down in this thick stuff, he's aggressive enough to come check it out. There's definitely deer in the river. I just can't quite see them. Damn, I saw one of them cross. There's deer down in there. This is where I don't know what to do. Do I call it that? I mean, I couldn't tell if it was a buck or a doe, but it was moving pretty good, which means either a buck is searching or a doe getting chased. But like, do I rattle at that? Do I let it be? Maybe they're making their way over here. Hunting decisions are hard. Get the camera pointed at that crossing for a minute. All of my instincts, every hunting instinct in me, tells me this is the spot to be. But I think ultimately I'm going to end up in the bottom, closer to where I know they're crossing this river. The first sit we could hear deer down in that river. This sit I can hear deer down in that river. The only thing keeping me up here is the idea that it's the right spot, not actually being the right spot. It's a case of I shouldn't be hunting the spot, I should be hunting the deer, and the deer are down that way about 75 more yards. That's a good buck. It's still a very chilly morning, and there's no doubt in my mind there's going to be activity throughout the day today. But I think I'm just going to bang these antlers together, wait maybe another hour and a half, and then probably leave. I know That buck I saw this morning is probably bedded right down in here. If he doesn't come out with the antlers, I doubt he'll come out at all anyway, but it's tough to leave. It's tough to leave knowing that there's a shooter buck close. He's not.
After a great weekend of movement and a shooter skirting the edge of my shooting range, it is now time. Our work week goes by, and on October 28th, I start my 8 days of rutcation. I always aim for that last week of October, first week of November, with Halloween and November 1st being my favorite time of the year. My first sit of rutcation is full of indecision on setting up in a new tree. I choose to give the same tree one more shot. However, as feared for that day, the deer come from downwind.
I think it's time to hit a little blind rattle. I wanted to wait till like 9:30, but something in my gut is telling me to do it now. I just really hope there's nothing to my east, because that's downwind. We want it to come from our west. God, I wish I had my binos. I see this deer. Well, that's literally what I was afraid of. That's right there, coming from the east. That is literally the last thing I wanted. And the other problem with that is I don't want to move the stand anymore. Damn. That was a good buck. I mean, he wasn't a shooter for me. He had me guessing for a second. Like I was thinking about it. Because from his side profile, he looks like a big 4-year-old, but when he looks at you, you can tell he's not wide. But that's what I was afraid of. This deer coming up out of the bottom of my east today. That's exactly what happened. Hey, we got some excitement though. We saw some deer, saw a good buck, not just a spike.
After that encounter, I drop out of the tree, and with Marilyn getting over her cold and having rutcation for her first time ever, October 28th's evening is spent spending quality time in the blind after Marilyn's buck.
Wireless mics, they get to actually hear all our banter.
Oh no, that's not good.
Cut to the ridiculousness of this tree stand. All the bullshit I gotta put up with.
You're the bullshit I gotta put up
Excuse
with.
me. No, I don't think so.
Yes. Could you be any louder?
Okay. Clunk.
We didn't get that on film, did we?
Ma'am.
Is there any proof? No.
All right, we're back overlooking the food plots tonight. Marilyn is not feeling 100%, but good enough to get in the stand during rotation. So we set up over the food plots tonight. We're after Marilyn's buck still.
Correct.
I actually don't know when we've seen him last, but we've been having some trail camera issues too. So, kind of a old school sit at this point, but he's out here a lot. He's out here in daylight from time to time. Here's to hoping he's around for this evening, checking out the does that end up on this food plot. So.
You already went to Vegas this year.
That's not enough.
Should be.
I didn't go with my wife.
You already went though.
Doesn't count.
That counts.
That's twice I went without my wife and I don't enjoy it.
You already
That's
went.
a lie. It's a blast. It'd be so much better with my wife.
Ultimately, this is how October goes. It ebbs and flows just as the weather does. Choosing the day and the right weather event is what will ultimately lead to success. Our forecast for Rutcation could not be any better. With the best days ahead, we hit the woods and get eyes on some awesome deer. On the next episode of The Debrief.